Hey, what's up guys, it's HoveringBanana and welcome to part 3 of my Crimson Vault to White Zomba trading series. Now I don't have really anything important to lead with today, so I think we're going to jump in straight to the trades. And first off, we're going to take a look at my inventory from the end of part 2. So I value it all at around $77. We got 38 pure keys, we got a nice biomass in there, and then just a lot of small items that I want to try get rid of. So our first trade I think comes from my RocketLeague.com advert. And the guy wanted to buy my biomass for the 6 keys that I was looking for. Now if you remember from part 2, we bought it for 5 keys, so we're selling for 6, that's an easy 1 key profit. Our next trade I think comes from the Steam trading forums, and for my ad I was just listing all my items there and was asking for offers. And he was interested in my FSL wheels. There was a lot of back and forth trying to negotiate on a good deal, and I didn't really get the best from him. I decided to go with his Kairo wheels. I think the Kairo wheels are only better ever so slightly, simply because they're newer. And I also had 2 FSL wheels already, so I thought okay, the Kairo would give me some more variety. But all in all, it's not that impressive of a trade. For the next trade I get quite a good one, and that makes up for the crappy Kairo trade. This guy found me on RocketLeague.com if I'm not mistaken, and he was interested in my sky blue Spiralis wheels. Now in this chat you'll see he mentions that he's a subscriber, and you'll probably know in my previous videos I try to avoid that. You can see I'm always changing my name, and I mentioned how I don't want people just to do trades with me to be in the videos and stuff like that. But I think he was able to find out that it was me because I didn't change my name on RocketLeague.com. But I would have felt bad turning him down, and he told me that he really wanted the Spiralis wheels. That was the first trade he found. So for my sky blue Spiralis, we know we paid 2 keys for them, and I was trying to get at least 3. Now his offer was white Vortex wheels, a black ZSR tribal, a CC3 crate, as well as some white Wildcat ears. Now the white Vortex should easily be 2 keys, we can maybe get a bit more, same with the white Wildcat ears. For the ZSR tribal I'm going to say 50 cents, but we can maybe get 1 key. It's for a popular car and it's also in a popular color, so it might not be that difficult. And that CC4 crate should be an easy 10 cents. Next up, you might remember that I had an ad out trying to buy a whole bunch of different painted items and some black market decals. And one of those items I was trying to buy was the Crimson Spiralis, which I know is quite popular, and I was able to buy one of those for 4 keys. I should easily be able to get 5 for them, but we're going to try get 6. The next trade comes from a Steam trading group. It was similar to the Steam trading forum post that I made, where I just listed all my items and I wanted offers. And I got a really good deal from a guy. He wanted my white beret, which I said is about 1 key, and he offered me show off certified forest green Spiralis wheels. Now those should be an easy 3 keys, but I'm going to see if I can push it a bit and maybe get 4. Next up, a guy invited me from an advert from RocketLeague.com where I was buying items, and he had an endo for 2 keys, and that's 1 key profit there because in part 2 you would have seen I can very easily sell them for 3 keys. After that he asked if I was interested in anything else, so I invited him to trade and he threw in a bunch of items. I was interested in trading some of my painted wheels for his painted sunbursts, because the sunbursts are generally easier to trade. He said he was rather looking for keys, but he was interested in my Alchemist wheels and instead gave me a pretty good offer. His offer was 1 turbo crate plus 8 additional crates. I'd say my orange Alchemist is worth about 0.5 to about 0.75, whereas his offer is worth about 1.3 keys, so of course I decided to take that. For the next trade I'm simply selling my endo for 3 keys, but just be a bit careful with the endos. This trade was done on Wednesday the 3rd of May, and they've been dropping fairly quickly in price. So by the time this video is out, I'm not entirely sure if you'll be able to buy them for 2 and then sell them for 3. Next up, I got invited for my unpainted Looper wheels. Now I think this guy was from Steam, and his offer was some saffron painted Lobo wheels as well as some unpainted Spiralis. Now the Loopers are valued at about 0.5, maybe 0.75, whereas the saffron Lobos should be about 2 keys and the regular Spiralis is about 0.33. So that's just under 2 keys profit with this trade. Next up, a guy invited me for my unpainted disco wheels. Now after turning down a few of his bad offers, the one I decided to go with was a Breakout Type S, an Octane Distortion and a ZSR Distortion. Now the disco techs are worth about 0.75 keys. His Type S I'd also say about 0.75, maybe 1 key. Then the Octane Distortion and the ZSR Distortion are also pretty popular, and we've traded these before, so I think I can maybe get 1 key for both of them. Next up, this guy was from RocketLeague.com, and he invited me for my purple Royal Crown. Now I valued this at about 0.5 keys, and he offered me an Octane ZSR, which is a lot easier to trade, and I value it at about 1 key. Next up, I was having a look at RL trades, and I didn't really have anything in the search boxes. I was just seeing what people were posting ads about, and I managed to snipe a deal where a guy was buying turbo crates 2-to-1, and this is pretty good because the standard ratio is about 3-to-1 right now, so we scored ourselves a pretty good deal right here. Next up, I had a trade on rocketleague.com trying to sell a bunch of items 2-to-1. I'll show you what they are on the screen here. And a guy bought my Octane Snakeskin as well as my Breakout Vector for 1 key, which isn't too bad, but for the Octane Snakeskin I actually think you can get maybe more than half a key, perhaps up to 1 key, just because it's for a very popular car and it's a very good looking decal. Next up, a guy invited me from rocketleague.com. I had an ad out trying to sell my CC3 crates 9-to-1. I then asked him if he's interested in maybe some more, like 18-to-2, and he was down to do that trade. After that, I asked if he was maybe interested in some CC4s, and then I sold him 9-to-1 there as well. Now this isn't really anything special, it's pretty much standard rates for crates on PC. So the next trade involves my Crimson Spiralis wheels. Told you I was trying to get 6 keys for them, and a guy invited me with an offer for 5. I ended up turning him down though because I was trying to get 6. So he said he can add an import car, and I decided to go with the Takumi. Now that's not quite 6 keys, that's more like 5.75. But I just figured, I'll just take that deal. But something actually pretty strange happened with this trade. So we had everything in the trade menu, but he wasn't really pressing accept. I thought maybe, he was thinking or maybe typing a message. But it turns out I actually got disconnected. So when I reconnected, I invited him back. But in the trade menu this time, he added in both of the import cars. Now when I didn't respond because I got disconnected, he must have thought like I didn't want his offer of 5 keys in a Takumi. So he ended up throwing in the Breakout Type S as well. And that was like a pretty strange way of getting like an additional 0.75 out of the trade. So the next trade I came across was on Steam. A guy was selling 2 endos plus a zomba for 5 keys. I decided to take this deal because I've been selling the endos for 3 keys each. And then we got a zomba in there as well, that's about 0.75. So with this deal I'm getting nearly 7 keys and items. After this, a guy invited me for my Sniper Certified GT Unmasked. Now in the earlier episode I said this was worth about 0.25 to 50 cents. And the offer I got was some Saffron Zetas as well as 2 turbo crates. I'd say that offer's worth about 1 key, so it's a pretty good deal for my Unmasked. Next up, I'm buying another endo for 2 keys, and I think it's the last one I'm going to buy. I don't want to overdo it for you guys. But these endo trades just go to show like how easy it is to make profit off these import cars. And with that said, our very next trade is just me selling one of these endos for 3 keys. So an easy 1 key profit. And just take a guess what our very next trade is. Another endo for 3 keys. So we are probably done with the endos now, right? Nope, we got another endo for 3 keys. And I mean, like at this stage you could probably just flip endos for a few days and make yourself a good amount of profit. If however you're watching these and endos have kind of died down a bit, I'd definitely say give this a try once we get our new import car. Next up we got I'm just kidding. We are unfortunately out of endos at this point, but a guy invited me for my white wildcat ears and he was giving me 2 keys for those. I think if you spent a bit more time you could maybe get like 2 plus a little ad or maybe 3 keys, but I'm definitely still happy with those 2 keys. But that is unfortunately where I'm going to end today's episode. We're sitting on 56 pure keys and I think we got about like 35 in items. So the inventory is currently about 91. I haven't tallied it up properly, but you'll probably see a figure on the side of the screen here. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.